How's everybody doing? We doing good tonight? Matt Phillips, the FOMO is real. We all wish we could be at Payvex, that's for sure. But yeah, can you get a start the meeting off by sharing a couple wins? Anybody have some wins so far this week?
Hey Dylan, I'll throw one out.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, so we're here at the Payvex, just learning a lot of great stuff. So any of you guys starting out in business, looking for some inspiration, plan on attending, trade shows, or even get involved with your local communities, with your builders associations or your local paving companies or whatever like that. Just learn, continue to grow, and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, that's amazing. Always being able to get that perspective and seeing how other business owners are doing in the industry and just seeing the equipment that's available. That's definitely an awesome experience. I wish I could be there, but next best option I would say is the AK roundtable. So let's keep it rolling. Thank you, Matt. I'm seeing all these emails in the chat. If you guys could also change your name to your email address, that would also be great for networking purposes. So if you click on your logo at the top right corner of it, there's 3 dots, and you can rename it at the bottom. So I'll show you an example. That way we can all expand our email domains and network that way. But let's keep the wins rolling. Who else has a win so far this week? Go ahead, John.
I had lunch with a buddy of mine today, and he said, my landlord owns all kinds of parking decks in town. Here's her phone number." So I haven't called her yet, but I will.
Okay, so you got some hot opportunities already?
Yep.
That's awesome. Are you gonna move forward with the pavement assessment, or are you gonna just try to shake their hand and get off with a good first impression with them that way?
I think the pavement assessment is a great way to get a foot in the door, not to mention look professional. So I'm going to go ahead with that. I watched the seminar live last week, so I was going to take advantage of the offer, but I haven't got. I don't know if I need a coupon code or anything like that. So I'll buy it soon.
What's that, the AK dash?
Yeah.
For sure. Let's hop on a demonstration sometime if you have time, either Thursday or Friday. I would love to show you how it operates and how you can use it to first move towards this first opportunity. Thank you, John. Who else has some wins today? Come on, anybody. All right, well, I guess I'll go. My win is being able to host the AK Roundtable for the first time. We also hit our target for AK Dash for the month. So just like any sales company, right? We set targets ahead of time, and being able to get it done with a couple days to spare on the month is a great win. So what I can do is I could show you guys how we use our deal pipeline in AK Dash, so you can follow the same sales process that we essentially implement here at Asphalt Kingdom. Toby, I saw you coming off mute there for a second. Do you have a win to share?
I did.
Let's hear it.
just have a pretty solid business plan in place. QuickBooks set up, CPA on board. Just have a clear idea of my direction, timeline, so forth.
That's amazing. You're just getting started your first year?
Yeah, yeah. Haven't done anything except for what I just said.
Nice. And where are you located?
Athens, Georgia.
Okay. So it's starting to get back to regular weather sometime soon, hopefully in that area.
Last couple of weeks were pretty cold, 20s, but it's 44 now, so I'll call that warm.
Bizarre
Yeah, it's
times,
beautiful
right?
today.
Okay. It's been bizarre, man. I mean, I'm in Florida and we got snow in the Panhandle for the first time since the 1800s. So
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
it's been weird.
definitely bizarre, but makes the warmer weather that much more exciting, right?
Yeah,
Well, welcome, man. Good to see you.
thank you.
Go ahead, Tony.
Um, my win would be, since I'm barely starting from the very beginning, still trying to figure everything out. I do know somebody that they have a concrete company, and I reached out to him asking him if they ever asked him to do striping, because that's what I want to start with. And he told me they do. So he told me that he'll keep me in mind. He said he just wants me to, get my business license and insurance and stuff like that. So like I said, I'm in the beginning, so I'm still working all that out, but at least I, trying to reach out there and make some contacts and stuff.
That's a huge win. Yeah, I know we were messaging over Facebook Messenger a little bit, but man, that's awesome that you were finally able to get that first discomfort out of the way. The first one is always the hardest. You'll get in the swing of things as you continue to do it, continue to understand how to come from that consultative angle, give them that pavement assessment, and just the awareness of the situation their pavement's in and how you can help it out, of course, right? All righty. So yeah, I mean, today I kind of just want to focus on you guys who are just getting started, and as well as those of you who might be already established and trying to take it to the next level. So obviously I've met with a couple of you guys regarding AK Dash. That's my specialty here at Asphalt Kingdom. So I want to ask a question to you guys. There's no right or wrong answer. I just want to see what you guys think is more valuable for your business. Would you say it is the equipment and supplies that you have, or would you say it would be more so of a system of an existing customer base?
What do you mean by a system of existing customer base?
Right. So essentially what I mean by that is a home base where all of your previous customers that you've done business with and you're hoping to be loyal returning customers are centralized.
I would say both.
I'll say sales. I know that's not one of the choices, but
You need sales, you need jobs to do the work, right? To use the equipment, right?
yeah.
What's going on, Mark? What would you say? I know you just joined and I'm putting you on the spot, but what's more valuable to your business? The equipment that you have or your existing customer base?
My customer base. I can always
Got it.
go. I've got some nice equipment, but I can always go find the equipment if I had to. But with a customer base, I get a lot of nice return stuff. Keeps me going.
Okay, so I think that's pretty much 3 versus 0 in favor of the customer base. So I did ask ChatGPT unbiased opinion here, right? And they agree, ChatGPT would agree with you guys. And it does have a couple of bullet points here. One that really stood out to me was equipment depreciates, systems appreciate, right? So it's kind of like one gets better with time, right? And that's going to be your system that you're nurturing, and that goes hand in hand with the customers that you want to have as returning customers, and you want to nurture them through a system, right? Is mainly by giving them a unique customer experience. So 3 things that AK Dash can do to give your customers a unique experience is, of course, what I've mentioned already, the pavement assessments. So the pavement assessments is that medical report for their parking lot. It's addressing some things relying on their parking lot that they might not be aware of. And it's really coming from a consultative angle. And it's not really just throwing a quote in their face. It's more so just educating them and increasing their awareness. At that point, you're building a level of trust, and customers like doing business with people who they know, like, and trust. So that is a very good way to increase the chance of your proposal converting. Another thing that gives them a unique experience could be like a customer portal where they can actually log into their side of your system, see all the proposals that you've sent them, see all the assessments that you sent them, see all the previous work you've done with them, and just look at the before and after pictures, provide feedback, and provide even minor requests for you to make some alterations in the proposal to give them that unique experience and make sure that their thoughts and opinions are heard on it. And then the third thing that I wanted to mention were touch points. Following up is so important, you guys. We know we are all sales and marketing businesses. In today's day and age, it takes about 10 to 12 touch points to close a deal. So if we could have a system that could delegate and automate those follow-ups, the customer will greatly appreciate it, and it will increase your chance of moving the deal forward. So are there any questions on those 3 things that I've mentioned? Go ahead, John.
Just a comment, I don't want to hijack your meeting, but my previous business didn't really go anywhere until we purchased a CRM that included scheduling, invoicing, accounts, receivable, uh, uh, merchant system to collect credit cards, the whole 9 yards. So I really see the value of something like AK Dash to keep all your customers and all your touch points, as you put it, and all the money they've sent you and the proposals you've sent, and keeping everybody in a central place was really key to my previous business doing well.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. And I mean, it really works with whatever industry you're in. If your goal and objective is to nurture your customers and be sales and marketing, it's essential that you keep that organized and you have the easiest way possible to get in touch with them when you need to, right? So what I want to do really quick is just show you guys an example of a pavement assessment in case you're unfamiliar with what they look like. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, is it visible? Nope.
I don't see it.
Okay. There it is, right? All right, thanks, guys. So this is what one of the pavement assessments look like. This is for a medium commercial parking lot. It is a Target here in Orlando, Florida. So it will have a nice title page with your company logo. the address and the client details. An introduction summary, summarizing your guys' values and why you do what you do. Building that trust in that first impression. It works with the pavement surface evaluation and rating scale, which gives them that scale from 1 through 10 so they can understand where they stand on that numerical scale and the maintenance needed to bring it closer to a 9 or a 10. So they're sitting in good condition with their parking lot. And then in the 3-step process, you're able to upload photos of the parking lot, of areas that might require extra attention, and then the description describing what is photographed in the picture. So really getting details here. And then, of course, the aerial takeoff with the square footage listed here. We have the recommended action plan with the scopes of work that are built into AK Dash, catered to what the customer needs to hear to understand the services specifically. These also will auto-populate and are adjustable within the pavement assessment system. And then it's finished with the conclusion and the contact information so you can move the deal forward into a proposal. You can also convert the pavement assessment right into a proposal through our system. So once they ask for the proposal, you can work speed to lead and dish it right out from the pavement assessment, because speed to lead is huge. Any questions on the pavement assessment, guys? What are some thoughts here? Go ahead, Mark.
So yeah, this thing has that, I have that and it works beautiful. I just, there's so much to it. I don't know all of it yet, but I'm slowly getting more and more. But it really, yeah, it really is first class. Really presents a nice, professional, much more than just sending a quote, an estimate from QuickBooks. Yeah, for sure.
Mark, what would you say on a scale of 1 through 10? How would you rank your experience with AK Dash so far?
Well, now I didn't even know that this was going to be talked about. I just signed on tonight, but I would call it a 10. It's going to be, yeah, it's going to be a real good deal. I got in late last year, and so I got in kind of on the tail, and I was of the year, and I was, hand delivering some things. Once in a while, you get a customer that has no email, but those customers have money in the bank. So I had to deliver it, but that's okay. It has all those pages and nice explanation. And man, I just think that helps give me an edge anyway on the rest of it.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that, man. I think Toby also had his hand up.
I have 2 questions, if that's okay.
Yes.
One is, I would imagine you could adjust the scope of services that you offer within AK Dash. I don't know what a good question there would be. How much control do you have over that, I guess? And then also, do you include pricing in your assessment?
Good question. So as for the scopes of work or the services, we do have 80 that are the most frequently used by our subscribers. So those are within the database already. What you can do is edit them from 2 angles. So you can edit it within the admin section, and we can train you on how to do this and walk you through it. So when you're doing it from the admin section, that's how it will be displayed once you go through the three-step process. But also there's the option to edit it within the three-step process if it's specific to that job that you want to change it for.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I think so. Try saying that again.
So if it's, for example, seal coating, and you usually go about seal coating with these different description items, if that's your most commonly way to go about it, that's how you want to keep it in the admin section, because how it is in the admin section is how it automatically fills into the, when you're doing the proposal or payment assessment. But you can also edit it while you're doing the proposal or the payment assessment. So if it's specific to that proposal or payment assessment, you can change it right in there.
Okay.
I know you had a second question. I lost it though.
Pricing. Do you include pricing generally when you give a pavement assessment?
So the pricing could be on the internal side when you're doing the pavement assessment, but it won't be displayed on what the customer sees.
You're
Once
just
you
trying to
convert-
let them know what the hot spots are in their pavement asset.
Right. So you're separating yourself from the competitors who might be just like leading with a quote and just trying to hard sell them. And then it also essentially isolates a financial objection. So if they ask you for the quote and then they have an issue with the quote after liking the pavement assessment, it's most likely because of the price, right?
Right.
And then that's something you can work with if you're willing to negotiate. Go ahead, John.
I didn't notice a page that included the condition of the paint and the lines and stuff. Did I just miss that, or is that in there too?
Right, so that would be documented on those pictures in the areas that need attention with the description right next to it. So you can address it at a specific spot. And then it will also be included in the scopes of work towards that second to last page that I showed.
But that's not a part of the original assessment rating, number rating?
No, that would be included as part of the pavement assessment rating.
Oh, okay.
When you get lower on it, it's gonna be like deteriorating asphalt, might need a complete repair, might need a replacement. Once you get towards the middle, that's when it's more so like, okay, this could be just sealed, some potholes repaired, and then line striping, right? So that's kind of how the scale works.
I have another question if I could ask.
Yep, go ahead.
So can you build templates in there? And what I'm driving at is you want to do an initial assessment. That's just some form of goodwill that you give somebody to build your client base. But then let's say, okay, I'm interested. Let's move a step further. Are you able to build a template that would maybe lead to a maintenance plan? Something I'm thinking recurring revenue and recurring work. You know, John's talking about lines. You can mention lines and say something to the effect that you might, as part of a maintenance plan, you would restrike your lines every 2 or 3 years, or whatever you think would be appropriate. Is there a way to build different templates, I guess, within AK Dash, just to speed that up.
Yeah, that's all, it's all adjustable. You can definitely specify that, like if that's something you want to include in the recommended action plan, 100%. You can definitely put that together.
And you can save those for use over and again.
Yes,
Just
sir.
maybe tweak it for whatever the situation.
It's all customizable. So however you can make it most applicable to your company, that's definitely something you can do. And again, that's something, it might be a little bit confusing at first, but we'll guide you through how to do those processes when you get started. Go ahead, Mark.
Oh, okay, so I'm still learning, but I think you can I think you know, once you do a job for a customer, you can go back, duplicate it, and then you can customize that to where you keep your original, and then you take that new duplicate and then you customize that to do your next service for them. So yeah, I'll tell you, it's got all kinds of things to do with it. So I don't know if that helps or not, but yeah, I've learned that myself. And you can go from the assessment, which lines out all the problems, and then with just a click, if you've already put the numbers in that you want, it doesn't show them the numbers on the assessment, but if they say, hey, let's move forward, then you just convert it, and it's your old numbers that you were, you know, fresh when you first looked at it are still there, and it just boom, the numbers are in there for them to look at now. So anyway, yeah, it's got all kinds of possibilities.
Yeah, Mark is definitely a good reference if you want to network with him and reach out to his email. He's got a good perspective of, you know, using the system for what, 6 months, 8 months now?
Yeah, and Mackie, boy, she's good about returning. I send her an email, and she shoots right back if she's free, but she gets right back to me, and she'll send me a Google Meet, and she'll get on there and she'll share the screen and kind of, oh, okay, now I get it. She's really good about that, so that's been a great help.
Yeah, Mackie is awesome. Tony, you had your hand up. Go ahead, man.
I was just wondering if I could if you could show us again that estimate that you had.
Yep. The pavement assessment, right?
Yeah, that one. So on that first page, it just shows everything that you want to.
The first page is going to be presenting your company and then theirs as well. And we're the address of the project. The second page is pretty much everything about your why, right? Like why you do what you do, your values, and your introduction summary. And then John, so this is kind of another look at the Pacer scale, so you could see. See if it's a 1 or a 2, then that's when we usually recommend like complete reconstruction. Once we're in the 3 to 6, 7, that's when we can do some patching, resurfacing, surface overlay, and then seal coating. And of course, the goal is to bring it up to a 9 or 10 where there's little or no maintenance needed left. But Tony, what else you need to see here?
So this is just an assessment. This is not a giving them a price for the work.
No, I could show you the proposal version of this. Would you guys like to see that?
I would if you don't mind.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Are you guys still with me? Can you still see the screen now where it says proposal now?
Yeah.
So yeah, you would just click create proposal right at the pavement assessment page. And this is the result. So the main difference is this is where we get into the pricing. So it's broken down by service for which price each service is. It's gonna have the same bullet points explaining the details of those services. That same aerial shot, I think Al was asking in the comments how we get the aerial shot. We have Google Earth integrated, which geocodes right to the address of the property that you fill in. And then you just simply tap the corners of it. We also are bringing on Attentive AI, which is another takeoff system with another aerial shot, which will essentially take this aerial shot and convert it into a blueprint for the customer. So if you want to talk about giving your customer a unique experience, once we have that integrated, that's really going to be something that stands out and is going to be appreciated by them. But yeah, here's those areas that need extra attention. They're going to have the description specifying what's photographed. And then the price breakdown and how it totals up to the project total.
So the proposal or the other one before this one, I forget the estimate, or I forgot what it's called. Because it is a proposal, but what was the other one called? The one they showed us at first?
The pavement assessment.
That assessment. You sent both of these at once, or you send a proposal after they agree that they want maybe your services?
Okay, so you remember when I was sharing my win and I was talking about how we follow a sales pipeline?
Yeah.
This is how you want to target your opportunities. Some might be introduced to you at a later stage, but if we're talking about, for example, that concrete company that you met that might need line stripes, that is a lead, right?
Mhm.
But since you got their contact information and you've introduced yourself, they're already further down the pipeline. The further down the pipeline you get, the higher chance of it becoming a closed deal. So once you get the sales qualified lead, you offer them the pavement assessment. Once they see the pavement assessment, you have a higher chance of closing it because then they're likely to ask for the proposal. They want to know the pricing. And then after that, it's just simple. It's either they move forward with it and it's a one deal or it's lost, right?
Oh, okay.
But as I said, there might be situations where you meet someone and they just want to know the pricing. Then you would skip the pavement assessment, right? Go ahead, Mark.
It took me a little time to understand that too. The pavement assessment and the proposal, everything's the same, only you see the numbers finally on the proposal. All right, Dylan, that's the way I understand it. That's the way I've been sending it out. And sometimes people are just kicking tires and they're just wasting your time. And you're able to follow up when you send the assessment, and you're able to find out, okay, is this guy serious or what? You know, sometimes, but you might find something out that you need to tweak before you send them the numbers. Anyway, there's that spot in there that I think is really critical. And I thought I heard Judd say with the pavement assessment, you kind of slow things down just a little bit to where you stay in control. Because you know how it goes. You give them an estimate and you can never get a hold of them sometimes. They won't even call you back. They won't, it's just, but with the assessment, you still got them because they don't know your numbers yet. And you're able to get a little more information. And that's what I've learned here just recently. Anyway, hope that helps.
That's right, Mark, because if you give them the proposal and they're not answering, there's several reasons why they might have ghosted you. But if you do follow the pipeline, you send them the pavement assessment and then you send them the proposal and they're ghosting you, we know it's because of the price, right? And that's something that you can track and manage in your business and learn from and get better that way, right? Increase your conversion rate from tracking these things. Yes, sir. Toby.
Sorry if I'm hogging the time, but so how interactive is that assessment? I see the picture I see the aerial view, but you also have those other pictures that you would have to be on site. I think it's probably pretty easy to do aerial photo, but a little more involved and maybe more meaningful if you go and visit the site. How interactive can you be, and how interactive is how much interaction is required? I don't know if I'm asking a great question, but how much can you put in there, I guess, and do you
So like
hear where I'm
how
coming
much,
from?
yeah, how much can you really do virtually without having to go to the job site, essentially?
Um, yeah, and from the other end, like how much can you add to it after you visited the site? And if I decide that I want to do more than aerial photos, and I want to actually get out there and show that I've made the effort and that here's this free assessment of your parking lot. Uh, Take it and use somebody else if you want to, but just know that it came from me and you're welcome to it. And I put this amount of effort into it, as you can see. I probably wouldn't say that, but they can see more effort if I've actually taken photographs of their parking lot, not of just some stock photos I have from across the street from my office.
Mm.
Um, I don't know if there's a question in there. I think I'm just trying to say, how interactive can you be with this assessment?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it kind of works a little bit with Al's question. He said Google Earth or Google Maps are not always current. So if you really do want to stand out, I do recommend going to that job site and getting those detailed pictures that you were able to get only from being on the job site, right? Google Earth can only do so much. So I think that's a natural question, right? Like we want to be able to do as much as we can virtually, but if you really want to go above and beyond, there are some things that you're going to need to document standing there. But we also bringing on what I mentioned, attentive AI, and they actually use low flying aircrafts that they send out, I believe annually. So this will be more current than what Google Earth satellite imagery can provide. And it will also be able to get more granular with how some of the potholes, where they will be on the parking lot, where some of the linear cracks will be, and even like what a line striping, what the row of the lines will look like when the project's done. So when I mentioned it brings you that blueprint, that's what I was referring to. So yeah, so there are some things that you might need to go to the job site to photograph and document, but we are working on ways to, give you guys the most value from being able to do as much as possible virtually.
And a side question, can you add video to that?
Yeah, so you can
Okay.
add a link to the proposal where they can click on it and watch the video through there.
Got it.
Anything, Mark? Go ahead.
Oh, just a a tip that Mackie gave me. She's the gal that helps a little bit with the some of the technical part. But anyway, she said, "Hey, okay, so you've got the lead. You fill out the lead on the form, and then you go to the site. And I've got my iPad here, so I just can go on and I just add all the information, take the pictures with my iPad, and build the whole thing." And she said you can actually send it before you leave. Send the assessment before you leave, and man, they're like blown away because your service is so good, and you're not, you're not like the other guy. People have waited 3 weeks and still hasn't called them, and you came out and you did it right now, and you've got an awesome presentation. Yeah. So anyway, I'm pretty fired up because I've learned a few things here recently, and this year is going to be, I'm going to stay busy. Just even if I have to cold call, I don't mind saying, "Hey, here's my card," and I'm already getting a few opportunities.
Thank you, Mark. Go ahead, Tony.
So I have a couple of little questions I want to ask. Just when you were talking about, or when Toby was talking about, going on site taking pictures and talking about the AI. Did you say that the AI could show them after pictures of what it would look like? It was, when the project was done.
That's right. So it uses aerial spatial imagery and artificial intelligence to document what the predicted final product will look like.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So the other question I had, which was kind of what Mark was saying as well, because in my mind I'm like, well, when you're sending out these I forget what they're called again, but
Pavement assessment?
payment assessments. So you're sending these assessments to people that are asking for your work, or is this someone that you're trying to cold call to?
So you're investing time when you're making a pavement assessment, right? So you really want to work the prospecting list. If it's people, you want to start with people people your people know, and then cold calling, right? You want to build that lead list in the pipeline. You want to get in touch with some of them so you can move them to a sales qualified lead. On that touch point with the sales qualified lead, "Hey, I want to send you a pavement assessment." Then you give them the pavement assessment, right? Since you're investing time into it, realistically, you can't just blast out all of your leads with their unique pavement assessment, right? So that's why you got to follow that deal pipeline and work with the lower hanging fruits. The more you move left to right, the lower hanging the fruit is, right?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense?
Yeah, big time.
I dropped a couple of links in the chat, guys. Please, take the time to invest some time into a call with me. It's only about 30-45 minutes. I'm more than happy to take an hour or more with you guys just to educate you on AK Dash, but that's my availability right there. Obviously there's only so much I could go into on this, but when we're on a one-on-one, I could get more into detail on these things. Also, I dropped the link for Attentive AI. So that will give you a look at what I'm referring to with like these blueprint photos and essentially the prediction of what the project will look like when it's done. So, I mean, point of my message here is giving them that unique customer experience, and those pavement assessments with these takeoffs that you're investing time into and systems into will help you guys stand out from your competitors. I wanted to show the customer portal and some of the automations, but we're coming up on the top of the hour. So let's have some of our last closing questions, all right? What we got? Go ahead, Tony.
Well, so like I said, I'm in the beginning phase of everything, trying to get prospects. I did see some violation codes at a Costco nearby me, where the curb is red, but it doesn't say fire drain on it. I didn't see it anywhere, so I was planning on trying to talk to somebody there and ask who would be in charge of making that decision to get that up to code. I don't know if you guys would know, maybe what the position might be that might make that choice. So I could just maybe ask for that person when I get there.
So kind of getting in touch with the decision maker.
Yeah.
Right, so the best way, from my perspective, is just trying to get a hold of who's ever at the highest ranking on site, whether that be the manager, whether that be, if it's a restaurant, maybe the owner. Seeing if they're the decision maker, giving them the information that you want to give them assessment of their pavement and maybe inform them that there could be a violation and that you're just there for their best interest, right? You just want to educate them and give them the assessment. You don't want to give them a price. In the best case scenario, they are the decision maker and they give you the contact information. You can put them in as a sales qualified lead and get that assessment ready for them. In a less convenient scenario, they aren't the decision maker. And in that case, you ask them if you can get a hold of their boss, right? Or the owner or the manager, right? And then you work from it that way. You try to, then he's more of a lead than a sales qualified lead, but you can, it's still more of a person that your people know than it is a completely cold call. And then you can get them the pavement assessment and work the pipeline that way.
Okay.
Go ahead. Is that Todd?
Yeah, so I was wondering when you're dropping breadcrumbs around the parking lot, especially on the rounded islands and stuff like that, it's kind of tedious to drag them all out. Is there in the future going to be a tool where you can cut out, like you can draw a square around the whole parking lot and then cut out?
Yeah. Yeah. That's something that the attentive integration will be able to help out with.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a commonly asked question. Of course, those medians, they do get subtracted from the total square footage. But that will be able to help you expedite that process better than the Google satellite imagery can, all right?
Yeah, cool. Actually, I just thought of something. Would it be, how close would it be to just draw that square and then kind of measure out 1 square footage of an island and then subtract that from there?
Yeah, that's definitely what you can do right now to work around and account for that subtraction of the size of the median from the total pavement, right?
Give you a roundabout answer. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, I hope to see some meetings on my calendar for tomorrow and Friday. I'd love to show you guys the system. Al, I do apologize for not making my screen bigger, but man, book a meeting with me and I'll show it to you. I'll zoom in just how you need it, all right? So I'm sorry that I missed that. I'm just seeing that now. And then I also saw Nick Nelson, who I think dropped. If you are listening to the recording, we do offer templates. You got 10 different templates to choose from. And if you want to move forward, we can even customize one if we discuss that for your business, all right? But we're at the top of the hour. I know we started a bit late, so I'm happy to answer more questions and stick around if you guys need.
What would you say the most useful aspect or piece or part of AK Dash is in general? That probably depends on who you ask, but do you think that the pavement assessment is the gem, or do you think that the the pipeline, the CRM, I guess, is the most useful piece of it.
It's a great
Um,
question.
I don't know if
That's a
that's a
great.
great question, but it's a question.
For me, it is, because this is what I do, right? But that's kind of why I started the meeting, right? Asking what's more valuable. Is it the systems of your company, or is it the equipment? And to answer your question, it's really just having it to begin with is the most important part. And that's something that you could find across multiple different softwares. So to get more granular and answer your question, what makes us stand out, it's gonna be us being specific to our industry and having things like the pavement assessments. Having things like the scheduling tool that works hand in hand with the proposals for the services of work to map it out that way. Having the AI smart agents that I didn't get into today to answer all your inbound phone calls on the first ring. These are all just bells and whistles and things that make us unique. But the most important part and the most value of AK Dash is just being that foundation for your business to begin with. Does that answer your question?
Uh, yeah, I mean, as clear a question as it was.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the pipeline, having the visibility of each stage your deal is in, so nothing's just sitting as a lead and collecting dust, making sure that you're exercising all the opportunities, having visibility, being able to track and manage your business, all of that. What's going
How
on,
much
Mark?
go ahead, Mark.
Sorry, Toby, you could go ahead.
Um, in what ways can you communicate with your team through AK Dash, or is it not that type of a software?
Yeah, so you could give your team their own specific user access, their own login, and you could give them limitations to what they might not need access to. You can assign them tasks that they'll be notified via email and through their AK Dash to see. They can mark those as completed as they move along. They can specify which proposals they created on their own. So there's that side of it. And then there's also, like, if you're working with foremen and subcontractors, we have a whole subcontractor portal. So they could log in and see what you've placed on their schedule from their side of AK Dash. They can upload before and after photos. They can do the field report, internal notes, and all that.
I recently had a meeting with Zoom meeting with Company Cam, which seems like a comparable product, maybe not industry specific, but one of the things that I thought was valuable, and AK Dash may do it, is the uh, is being able to take the and I guess you would convey this through the assessment or the proposal, but would be able to take maybe even after that. I don't know what the invoicing looks like, but there's a before and after side by side picture. You mentioned taking pictures, before and after pictures. Um, those pictures were in the same square, and that looked pretty valuable. Is there anything like that in AK Dash, or can you think of a different workaround for that same kind of a function, I guess?
So if I'm understanding how company Cam displays it, the way that we display it is the customer portal. So what your customer is able to log into, or the report that you give them after the project, will display essentially how it looked when they arrived with those before pictures.
Yeah.
Maybe if there was a truck that was on the lot that prevented you from being able to cover that part of the lot.
Right. Or
All
doing
that
two
can be,
coats and just wanting them to know that you didn't just do one coat, or, that
Yep.
sort of thing.
And it will be categorized, right? This is before, this is after. Toby, you got some time tomorrow or Friday to meet with me? I know you just checked out company cam.
I can't do it tomorrow. I could probably do it Friday afternoon.
Friday at 12. Where are you located? Georgia, right?
Yeah, Eastern.
I'll send you a calendar invite, all right? If you can accept it, or if we need to move it to another time, we'll work that out, all right?
All right, great.
I'm available
And
tomorrow.
you're good, John? What time you want to do? I got
Morning's
where are you
better.
located?
Raleigh.
Carolina, right?
Yeah,
Okay, you want to do 9 a.m.?
sure.
All right, I'll send you the invite.
Thank you.
Yeah, I applaud you guys for investing the time and sticking around through this whole hour. Mark, did you have something else to say?
Oh, no, I just, I was gonna say, one thing I like for me is that I've got a place to set up a task. It helps me to stay organized and follow up. And I think following up is, wow. And I used to work at a shop, body shop, and this guy for Zepp, I think it was Zepp, one of those companies, used to come around, and he was not a slick talker or anything, but he was such a nice guy, and he was there regular, and we bought from him because he showed up. And I think on the other side, that's what I should do. I should. And so anyway, that helps me stay organized, and I think that's a great part of it. That's a tool I really like. That was one of my favorite parts, yeah.
So happy it's working for you, Mark. I really am so excited for where you take your business in 2025. And I'm really excited to meet with the rest of you guys here. Some newer faces. So it's really cool to see you guys. And I should be meeting with the majority of you in these next couple days. So that should be it for the roundtable. But thank you guys again. We'll be here at the same time in the same place, actually on time next week, Wednesday. And February's starting next week, so we're already easing closer to the season, guys. Thank you so much. Have a great night.